How many points did you say it was to raise a skill, Kev?
Okay, guys, so we are live. For those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. With me tonight are two of our regular fixtures of the podcast. I've got, I'll go from the order you guys joined. So, Steve-O.
What's up? Playing the indomitable Aquilonian outcast archer.
That's right. Named Sula, right?
Correct.
And Dave.
Hey, folks. I will be playing Samartef, Stygian badass, and looking to get into some adventures.
Absolutely. So sorry, before we went live, we were just we were talking about the setup. I should say as well too. I'm sorry. Tonight we will be continuing on with our ongoing campaign, playing Conan: Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of, the wonderful new game published by Modifius Games. We have played two adventures in this campaign thus far. The pre-published Red Pit out of Jeweled Thrones of the Earth and Vultures of Shem. Tonight, we're starting a new adventure that will be spread out over the next couple of sessions called The Thunder at Midnight. So, what I was going to say, Dave, is that two things. Is one of the ways I've decided to kind of prep for this campaign to keep my, to keep things, fresh and really keep my interest level at a high. So I'm constantly trying to, challenge myself and whatnot. I've made a wish list of cool shit from Conan that I want to incorporate in this.
Okay.
So, and basically what I'm going to do with our campaign is just work my way through that list, is just, just like in Conan, we're going to jump all over the place. So you guys will, you're in Khoraja right now. And that's cool, but I'm going to shit's going to be happening at a pretty fast pace here. So you may not necessarily be here for long.
Okay.
The reason I mentioned that is because one of the things that I said to Brent, for those listening at home, Brent is one of our regular players, and Brent is the way that Brent typically likes to prep his characters is once he starts playing a new campaign, he sort of plans out how that character is going to evolve over the next year of play, mechanically speaking. He chooses what talents or feats or whatever, depending on the game we're playing. Dave, what I suggested to Brent is for him to challenge himself on this one and not pre-spend, and just see where the campaign takes his character. And I'm going to suggest the same thing for you guys. I mean, you guys aren't typically the ones who spend ahead. Steve, you do this a little bit, but I'm going to suggest you guys see what becomes important as we play, because I'm not necessarily going to be dictating this is going to be a high social interaction game or a high combat. I mean, obviously, this is the Hyborian world. Combat's going to be a big part of this, but I definitely want to play up a lot of the other aspects of the game as well. And some of my wish list ideas are things that I want to that are definitely not necessarily the types of scenarios where the one best with swords or whatever is the one who's going to do best.
Right. So
but yeah, I mean, whatever. And that said too, I'm also going to let you guys whatever you guys choose to sort of pursue or do. That's where the game's going to take us. I love the way that the game introduces random plot elements with the Downtime event, right? Which we'll be diving into tonight.
Right.
Carousing event. Because that was one of the most fun elements of the last session too. Was that thing, that whole crazy encounter that came from Brent trying to borrow money from you.
Yeah.
Right, Steve, what you missed it, but what ended up happening is Brent, he needed an extra gold, 1 gold piece or whatever it was to be able to buy the gear that he wanted. But what I said is I'm no, don't just ask him for it and get it and whatnot. Role play it out, play your character, because Brent's character is pretty, hot tempered and whatever. And what ended up happening instead is he asked, and then Dave's character kind of hummed and hawed a little too long, so he was like, "Fine, fuck it, I'll do it myself." And when storming off, I decided to try and like pick pockets in the market. And when Dave heard about that, he decided to make it into a competition. And then it did not go well for Brent because he got caught. And it this whole crazy encounter that ended up with him using his sorcery to like scare an entire marketplace full of people, and then that led to their introduction to the prince of the city, one of the princes of the city. Yeah, so it ended up being a much more interesting way of getting them, to where I needed them to be in the campaign than just, like, hey, you want to be hired by the prince?
Right.
Oh. Yeah, it was super awesome because the harder Brent tries to keep his magic under wraps, the more flair it comes out with. It doesn't just seep out slowly. It just kind of like builds to this crescendo, and then he just like shits it out in this magnificent like rainbow of magic, and like before he even knows what's happened, it's just completely like upended his world, which is awesome.
Nice
it's like
yeah.
Sorry, was that Steve?
It's a nice description. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so as mechanically as well, because this is the start of the session, you guys each start with 3 fortune points. So you can put 3 tokens where you can see them. And because you got 3 fortune points each, that means I'm starting with 6 doom. One thing I fucked up last session as well, too, guys. I want to clarify because it will come up in a lot of play. When there is points in the momentum pool, you can use that like once you can't use them to buy the first success you get on a skill test, but once you get a success, you can spend them on whatever the hell you want. So I was doing that wrong. You can spend them on damage. You can spend it on piercing or whatever else. And speaking of piercing, that is something else we fucked up. Piercing, for every momentum you spend, you get 2 armor you get to ignore.
Okay.
That's what piercing is useful and cool. Okay, so what I've done for these tokens here, guys, is I set these up with that are on Roll20. I've set them up with the red bar is your vitality, and the blue bar is your resolve. So basically what you can do is if you take, like, let's say Semertef takes, let's say 6 points of vigor damage, okay? What you'll do is just click on the little cog to open up his wheel there. I'll reduce his armor or his vitality by 6 and then check it out. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, Kev, none of that is actually coming.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that either.
Maybe give it a moment.
I've seen 1 bar.
There is 2 bars on Semertef. There's the top blue one, and there's a red one. The red one should have gone down to a little less than half now.
You know what? I'm actually not even seeing Semer's.
Where did I put you? Oh, you know what? Wait, no, hold on. Maybe on there. Okay. You may need to scroll down, guys. On that thing, Semertef and Sula are at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Oh no, I see red bars on the 2 dudes at the top.
Keep scrolling down.
Right, but I don't see the red bars on Semertef or Severus.
You don't see it at the top of the character?
I see a blue bar for Semertef and Sula, but that's it.
Yeah, as do I. It's the same thing. Plus, our characters aren't coming up in the as an option.
Characters won't show up. Well, I'm getting feedback from somebody. Hold on, maybe it's Roll20. Hold on. No, that's fixed. Let me see here. Oh. You know what? I think I know what the problem is here. Hold on. As is usually the case, it's DM fuck-uppery. How about, do you see the red bar now, guys?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so check us out. If Semertef takes, again, 6 points of damage, I'll reduce his thing from 10 to 4, and boom. So you'll have to track your wounds and stuff in person until we figure out a way to do that on the Roll20 interface. But okay, let me make sure that Sulla is. He isn't. There we go. Boom, boom. How's that, Steve-O? You see your health and your resolve now?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Let me. Oh, you know what? I think I have to give you guys control of these as well too. So Dave, you have control over Semertef. Just please don't move him too much, because it'll F up the layout here. And Steve-O, boom, you got control over Sulla. So both of you guys should be able to click into each of those characters now.
Boom.
So Dave, you were going to ask me something about skills.
Oh, I was just wondering what the cost for increasing them were.
So to raise your focus and to raise your expertise, they're raised separately. Each of them costs 200 times whatever you're raising it to.
Okay.
So if it's your focus is what raises the overall level, like it's what's added to your attributes to figure out what number you need to roll under, and your expertise is where your crit comes in, where you get 2 successes rather than just 1.
Okay.
When you want to add a talent to a talent tree, what does that cost?
If you want to add a talent to a talent tree, that will cost for the first tier, for the first one at the top of the talent tree, costs you 200. The next one down from that costs you 200 as well. The next one down from that costs 4. The next one down from that costs 600.
Okay, 2, 4, 6.
The other thing too, Steve, sorry, you actually get more gear too. If you can take a look at your guy is an archer, is that right? Is that his archetype? Okay, so if you go to the archer archetype in your rule book there will be a list of what gear you start with. What has happened in between is after you escape the red pit, you guys all what sort of you guys decided was going to happen is you were all going to meet up in Khoraja. Khoraja is actually I can show you here. Let me move you guys over here. Boom, to the map of the Hyborian world. So in about the center of the continent on the left there's a nation called Koth. Do you see that?
Yep.
If you zoom in just south of Koth, on the southeastern border there is a land called Khoraja.
Khoraja.
Mm-hmm. That is where you guys currently find yourself. Koth, where you guys sort of, let's see here. You were in Koth before. The red pit, I was going to ping on here, was around here in the western Kothic hills here. You escaped from there, kind of quickly decided that Koth was too dangerous of a place. So you were all going to make your way to Khoraja. The capital city of Khoraja is Khoraja. And it is located on basically like a plateau near a very narrow pass into Shem. And it's like a Thermopylae kind of situation where it can, because of the geographic setup, it can be held by a very, very few amount of men. It is also a mix of Shem is kind of like a, like a Arabian or like Middle Eastern sort of feel to the kingdom, and Koth has a very like Byzantine Greek kind of feel. It's a very old kingdom dating back to before or contemporary to the fall of Acheron, like 3,000 years ago. Khoraja is an interesting mix of the two. It was sort of modern Khoraja was founded by some Kothic adventurers. So the nobility in Khoraja are all Kothic, and the general people are mostly Shemite. Because of its location, it is a incredibly popular place for mercenaries. They field massive mercenary armies. So the thought was that you guys were going to all meet up in Khoraja, maybe make your fortune there, and then figure out what you're going to do afterwards. Steve, I think that Sulla was held up somewhere. For some reason, you weren't able to meet up with them in Khoraja, and we'll deal with sort of what happened there afterwards. But you've come after the fact. So where we find you guys is you guys have met up again, and what's happened since you last saw Semertef, Steve, is they joined a massive army that one of the heirs to Khoraja, Prince Satabus, he had allied himself with one of the Shemite princes, or kings rather, against another. Shem has a lot of nation. It's basically like city states that all fight with each other. One of them was going to march on another one, so he allied with them. Turns out that Shemites can't be trusted, and both of the Shemite kings turned on the army and annihilated them. It's only through the a combination of luck, determination, and sorcery that our heroes actually survived the encounter. Mm-hmm. So you guys find yourself Semertef and Lazaro, which is Brent's character, and Sir Quintus, who is Jeff's character. They return to Khoraja, and with the prince, who was very badly wounded in the last sort of thing, with his bride to be, a Stygian princess named Neferet, who seems to have captured Semertef's eye.
What does he need the eye for?
The eye for there's an interesting interplay between Princess Neferet and Dave's character last session, because she sort of initially took a dislike to him, but there's I guess with your friendly DM, Semertef has terrible taste in women, so he is making a play for the princess.
I mean, she's only married to the king and all. What could go wrong?
She's well, so what, and I'm not sure if you have shared this with Sulla yet, but that the Neferet's handmaiden is this woman named Amunet, and Amunet is Neferet's sister and is actually the true love of the prince. So it's gonna be a political marriage, but the person who really loves Prince Satabus is Amunet, so that's sort of an opening for the affections of the princess, though banging a future queen may not maybe be a reason for what's his name, for not Semertef, what's his name? Semertef to be leaving the kingdom sometime soon. So Dave, you've got, I think, it's still the card that has your carousing actions on it, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Then Steve, I'm gonna give you one of these as well too. What I'm gonna do, guys, too, is as you guys gain new, because I really love using the index cards. For those listening at home, what I did for the last session was I created a bunch of index cards, some of which have where'd I put them? Here we go. Things like, last session had a corpse shield,
which is the best, by the way.
Yep. Baskets, spears, so on and so forth. What I'm going to do, Dave, is I'm actually going to be, as those things are encountered, or as if there are things between sessions that I know is going to come up in the next session, I'm just going to mail you guys these, because it's just cheap as shit to just mail a normal letter size thing, and I can just bang up a couple of them the week before and mail them out to you guys.
Okay.
So, because I think they really add something to it. And Steve, I'll obviously just be passing them to you. Let me give you your option, Steve, but for tonight, what I'll do is I'm just going to type into the chat here in Roll20. I'm just going to give you the options of what you can do with carousing. Dave, I know you already have gambling.
Voice. Gender therapy.
Okay. So those are the carousing things that you guys can do. Steve, what I would like you to do is figure out, just take a peek through and figure out what gear you're going to have for the starting gear. Because I'm assuming that between when you left the Red Pit and when you guys all met up in Khoraja, you managed to get either like replace your old gear or get that. And I'll just reflect that as your starting gear. Also, what is your personality trait? It'll be, I think, in the middle of your character sheet there.
Honor debt.
Sorry?
Honor debt. That's all right.
Sorry, I'm not. No, what I mean is your ability, your personality ability.
Ability.
It'll be one of your attributes. Sorry, that's what they call it, not ability.
Right.
It should be listed like in the skills that are like persuade and can't remember what other ones there are.
Right. And so which one? Oh, personality. There we go. I've got animal handling, council, persuade, society.
No, I'm interested in your personality score. It'll be at the top.
Oh, score 7. 7.
7. Okay. And then what is your expertise in society?
1.
7. Okay. So you also have 8 gold too, Steve.
Okay.
You'll have 8 gold coming into this this session. You scrabbled together enough, treasure and whatnot. Nice. And Dave, you made off like a bandit, or I guess a highwayman. You're coming in with 10 gold from, and you don't have to pay for upkeep this round.
Okay. That's 10 in total, not 10 added to the 7 that I had before?
You did not spend all that 7, then yes, you add 10 to that.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of the benefits also that Prince Satabus offered is you don't have to pay upkeep for this round. Steve, unfortunately, you do have to pay for upkeep. Or, I think that
that's fine.
You'll sort of talk your way into staying with them because you guys are being kept in basically the royal apartments.
I mean, there's probably a pretty good chance that Semmer probably, had a little chat with the prince and was like, "Hey, this is my buddy Sula. He's, is it okay if he stays with us?"
Cool.
So, okay. Yeah, that is perfect. I'm totally fine with that. Okay, so then we find our heroes in Khoraja. Let me give you a little image of sort of what I picture Khoraja being like here. And this is not quite right because it's a little too flat, but there you go, guys. This is
it's beautiful.
Spires and the massive royal complex of Khoraja.
Home sweet home.
Yes. You are okay. So I think what we'll do is why don't we start with you guys can pick a carousing action you'd like to do. What we'll do is we'll do maybe a 1 or maybe 2 rounds of carousing actions, and then I think we'll do 1 round of carousing actions, and then we will we'll roll to see what event happens during this carousing.
Okay.
And then you guys can continue on and finish up what other carousing stuff, and then I will interject as I deem necessary. So, who'd like to go first? Who has a carousing event they'd like, or carousing action they'd like to do?
I gotta blow some steam, man. It's time to do some gambling.
Nice. Dave, am I correct in thinking that you may want to do that as well?
You are not incorrect. However, Semmer walked away from the last encounter a little bit shaken. He's got a trauma that I think he'd like to try to get rid of.
Okay. Okay.
Is that applicable to the session, or should we?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. So one other thing I want to mention too, guys, is because of the way I'm setting up the campaign here too, And because of the way the game, so like the game has as one of its carousing actions something called rumors. And basically what you do is it's you sort of like, spending some time and money and whatnot, asking around and trying to find like, well, what's the next thing I can do? And what you do is you would, for every gold you spend, you roll 1d6 or a combat dice for those listening at home. And for every effect you roll, you get one piece of like actionable intelligence, some lead you can follow that may lead you to an adventure. So because the game has that, what I'd like you guys to be doing is at least one of you every downtime session, preferably more, but at least one of you fall when you don't have leads that are leading you on to the next obvious thing, to spend some time doing that. Okay. So are you guys are both, you want to do some recovery, Dave, and Steve, you want to do some gambling. So let's start with the gambling. So Steve, you have currently, 8 gold? Oops, Steve, you there? You believe Steve? We did not. Oh, he's frozen. Dave, can you hear me still?
Yeah, you're still here, Kev.
Okay, cool. So what I will do, yeah, Steve's frozen on the Google Plus call. So I think maybe he's having some connectivity issues. What we'll do is let's start with your recovery. So sure. To recover for a to recover from wounds, obviously you go and you find someone who's got healing. To recover trauma, you go and you find someone who is going to use counsel to try and help you recover. It's like so that can be a priest if your character's particularly religious, or it can be to be honest, pretty much anything that you can conceivably think of as a way for your character to try and recover from that's appropriate for the character to recover from those actions or from that stuff. So I'm thinking, from what you had said about Princess Neferet, why don't we kind of fold those two things in, and maybe you're trying to oh, Steve, can you hear us now?
Yep, sorry, I froze there.
Well, that's okay. Okay, so Steve, what I think you might have missed is that I mentioned to Dave that one of the things that the game incorporates as a downtime activity that you can see is rumors. And what that is you spend a gold for every gold you spend, you roll 1d6, and then, or the combat dice, and then for each effect you roll, so each 5 or 6 you roll, you get a piece of like a lead onto a next piece of information that will lead you on to sort of like a next adventure. Or the possibility of adventure. So what I'd like you guys to do is to when you don't have there's also useful information you can get, like what's going on in the city and stuff like that. Like it's all, whatever you get is something useful for your character. I would like you guys to do to try and make use of that that aspect of the game, is at least one of you guys trying to chase down rumors when you don't have any. Does that make sense, Steve? Okay, so Dave, okay, so just to set the scene here as well. So you guys got back, you and Lazaro and Sir Quintus got back to Khoraja. You may recall that in last session, Prince Satabus was pretty much near death when you guys stumbled upon him in the ruins of that forgotten city. His body riddled with Shemitic arrows. You got him back thanks to the kind of chirurgic arts of Lazaro. You managed to get him back here alive, but he just seems to not be getting better. He's still able to talk to you guys, and you meet with him the odd time, but he's still bedridden. Trying to, he had a fever before. He was very weakened by that, and he's still struggling to recover. Amunet has not left his side, and Neferet spends most of her time with him, but not as much as Amunet. his mother, incidentally, whose name, one second here. I wrote down a name and then I looked it up afterwards and realized that the name that I thought was his mom is actually his sister, or rather his sister-in-law. So give me a sec here. Here you go, Stephen. In honor of what you told me earlier today, her name is Etheria. Queen Etheria. She's a dowager queen as well, too. The king had died quite some time ago, and it's really just Prince Satabus and then his brother, whose name escapes me right now, but I'll look it up between now and the next session. Yeah, it's Etheria. Incidentally, guys, I picked this up. This is my campaign book.
Ooh.
This campaign. So I'm tracking all my stuff in here, doing my little maps in here. It's going to be pretty neat. Queen, and the other, I guess, downside is that because of the loss of effectively, the entire mercenary army plus the other soldiers that went with you guys, as well as the a good chunk of the Khorajan nobility who decided to ride out on this adventure. The queen was struck and seeing her son and heir so ill and so gravely injured, she's taken to bed as well too. So she is effectively insensate at this point, still alive but not effectively ruling. So it is really a combination of Neferet and sort of the courtiers who are running the kingdom at this point. You guys have we're going to be filling up or describing some of the time between when you guys first arrived here and then till the start of the next adventure. So, Dave, with that in mind, how do you think? I don't want to force the princess on you, but do you think that would be the option he would pursue to try and console himself, or is there something else he had in mind?
Yeah, I think it could be that. Certainly, I don't know that they have enough of a relationship that. Well, it might. The other option I could think of that may bring Sammer some kind of solace is going back to his roots, especially since he's based. He's currently in Khoraja, heading out into the wild and communing with the animals, which was essentially the majority of his life, not only as a herdsman, but after his family was all slaughtered.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, cool. So let's have you. Let's see. We'll open the session then with that scene with you and south of Khoraja. Like Khoraja is on a massive, almost sheer cliff face that falls down into the Shemitic plains and deserts that then sweep out across Shem. You've gone riding off into there, and what I'm going to say is actually there is the local tribe that sort of like predates the city of Khoraja are a tribe of men called the Zahini, and I'm not sure that you've necessarily yet made friends with the Zahini, but our scene opens up with you sort of riding along on a horse, presuming one of the horses that you recovered from last adventure. Excuse me. Oh, no, your horse was devoured, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was the prince's horse that was devoured.
That's right.
So you're riding off across the, the windswept, silt-filled plains, all off on your own. The massive mountains of fire on your right, which is the north. How many days do you think you've been out, on your own?
3, probably verging on 4.
Okay. What you've seen in that time is there's been a small group of horsemen who have been you're not sure how long they've been sort of following you, because they were quite good at hiding themselves. But once you noticed them, or they let themselves be noticed, you realize it was these Zahini who were following you. And interestingly enough, the Zahini were the only one of the only like major units from the army that managed to get away from the Asuri, the Shemitic cavalry. So they're one of the only or largest military forces left in Khoraja right now. And over time, you finally you realize, at first you were concerned that they were raiders or something like that, and then you realize like, oh no, they're clearly just following me. That's it. They're not trying to take advantage of you or to attack you. At least you don't think they are. They're just simply sort of fellow travelers, and seeing, I guess, the way that you live rough and you live off the land. There's probably a bit of a grudging respect they have for you, or seem to have. So this is now kind of the final your last sort of day before you head back to Khoraja. And you're sitting by your fire, and then you hear out of the darkness of so the fire is crackling before you. The moon is high in the sky, and you can see to the south there is a massive storm that is making its way in. But it seems to be moving at a fairly slow pace. It's not rushing in like that. Rushing in on you. It's slowly lurking over, and it seems. Actually, let's get some dice rolling going here. Why don't you make a survival check for me, please?
Okay.
So currently we have 6 in the. Actually, I can use this here. As there's 6 points in the beam pool, and zilch in the momentum pool.
So refresh my memory again, Kev. It's automatically 2 die, and then one additional one for every level of experience.
No. What it is the number you're going to try and roll equal to or less than is your attribute plus your focus. For each, what you can do is you can give me 1 doom for each extra dice you want to roll, if you want to roll extra dice, or you can spend your fortune to gain like an automatic success on one of those extra dice, which means if you've got an expertise of at least 1, means you get 2 successes out of that, because it counts as if you rolled a 1. That's really it. If you had an ally, they could assist you or try and assist you.
Okay. In terms of the number of dice rolled, it would be 2, right?
Yeah, 2, and up to a maximum of 5.
Gotcha. And this is a survival roll?
Yeah. Yes, please.
That is, and I'm trying to get equal or below.
You're trying equal or below. That's right.
2 successes on that.
Awesome. Okay. You only need 1 for this. So I'm going to pop 1 into the moment. Oh, actually, you know what? Here's I can either give you a little bit of extra information about this, or you can dump into the momentum pool. Which would you prefer?
Let's go with the information.
Okay. So you, as you're sitting, kind of your meal of whatever, roasting over a stick in the small fire you've built for yourself, a heavy robe pulled against you against the cold wind and the cool temperatures of the Shemitic night. You can see this storm lurking in the far south, and this storm has been sort of lurking there and roiling on the southern horizon for about 2 or 3 days, like basically for the entire length of time you've been out. It's been hanging like a dark stain on the southern sky, seemingly. You can't help but feel that it's lurking for you, but there's something distinctly unnatural about it. It has a predatory feel to it. Coming from Stygia, you're well versed in the sorceress, or the potential of sorceress interference and sorceress influence. That cursed land has seen millennia of sorcerers rise and fall to carve their will out on the very land itself, and this strikes you as something similar. So you're sort of, but it doesn't seem to be an urgent thing. At least this, whatever that the coiled serpent that waits in the southern skies, it doesn't give any indication that's going to strike anytime soon. So after you're sort of waiting for your meal to finally warm, and keeping an eye on the small flashes of light in the far off southern skies. And then that's when you hear the sound of horses, the sound of horses walking, not at a gallop or anything like that, just walking their way, or I'm not sure what the word is for a slow horse walk, but whatever that word is.
A trot, if you will.
A trot, I think, is what I'm looking for, yeah. Yeah, that's probably right, because a trot is like slow, canter is like half speed, and a gallop is full speed, right?
I believe so.
Is it wrong that I'm picturing it as gears on a horse? Put this sucker in gallop. Okay, so you hear at a trot, there are some horses that are approaching your campsite. You're maybe like against a rocky outcropping, or a series of kind of rocks. What do you do?
Who goes there?
I am also going to say that you guys have picked up Kothic as a language as well too. I think you guys. Oh no, you guys already have Kothic, don't you?
I do, at least.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. So that's what you say, and then in sort of broken Kothic, you hear, or at least heavily accented Kothic, you hear someone say, "We mean no harm. We only wish to share the fire." The accent is, it's not Shemitic. You've heard of Shemitic accent, but it's very close to it. It's kind of like when you're like Glaswegian or heavy Scottish accent and an Irish accent,
right?
Where there's sort of like, you can tell that there's something similar, but it's not quite the same.
Yep.
What do you say?
Well, if you mean no harm, I could use the company. I've been on my own for quite a few nights.
Okay, so these three men come in, and they come in riding on their horses. They are dressed in kind of like light brown colored desert robes. If you think of like the picture of sort of the desert or what do you call it? I guess like the desert warrior. Dark hair, dark eyes. The angular features that are prevalent amongst the Shemitish, and almost hawk-like kind of cast to the leader's face. He comes in, his dark eyes twinkling with the in the reflected firelight, and he says, "Thank you." A little crisp. He's got a finely sort of trimmed mustache and a beard that kind of curls up at the front. He says, "Thank you." It is so. It's thank you, Stygian. The night is cold, and there seemed little cause to to share our own fire when we could enjoy both the warmth of your fire and your company. he says something in a language you don't understand to his two companions, who look like they could be brothers or maybe just like cousins or something like that, because they look an awful lot like him. They hop off, and he says, one sec here, get my names. He nods to you and says, I am Musa of the Zahini.
I go by Semertef. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And so the pleasure is ours. It is good to hear that what's the word I'm looking for here? Not customs. What is it? I guess customs is what I'm looking for. The manners of your land, of your desert home, are similar to our expectations. Now, you are providing us with a hearth for the night. Let us share at least some of what we have. And he's brought with him, I think, some kind of sweet date wine.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he'll share that with you as well, and they'll contribute maybe a little bit of like salted, some kind of salted meat with you as well. In the course of the evening, you get to learn his, the two who are with him are actually his cousins. Do you want to steer the conversation towards anything, or are you just going to kind of, see what they have to say?
No, you know what? I mean, if I've successfully been able to get the story of where they come from and what brought them out this way, then that's I think that's everything that Summer needs to kind of assuage his any skepticism he might have about their intentions.
Okay. Well, they are armed, although somewhat lightly. But what they are Zahini scouts. They don't live in Khoraja, but they swear fealty to it. They pay a tithe to Khoraja. They've been keeping basically an eye out for any, with the decimation of the Khorajan army. It's in the interest of everyone in the region to sort of keep an eye out for any Shemitic kings who may wish to take advantage of their weakened state. I mean, Khoraja is still no weak place, but a loss like that may embolden some otherwise, non-belligerent kings. So greed sometimes, takes takes control over a king's common sense. And that's they say well, actually they've seen you. They saw you ride out, and they wanted to. You're clearly not from Khoraja, so they wanted to know sort of what you were doing. They found it peculiar that you were out here in the desert on your own. What are you out here for?
Well, I'll impart to them that I come out here regularly to reconnect with my roots and to ground myself in the place that I come from.
And where is that you come from?
Well, originally Stygia, but I am at home and at one anywhere in the wild.
What is it about the wild that attracts you so? The desert, the calls to many men. What is the song that you hear?
It, well, quite frankly, I've spent the majority of my life here. It soothes my soul and brings me back to a place of peace.
He seems to understand what some of what you're talking about. What I'm going to say is, I'm not going to make you make a roll. You'll just have to spend 1 gold. Basically, what you spent the gold on is like your supplies and whatever else that was sort of eaten up by this. And that will recover your trauma.
Okay.
Also, Dave, take another fortune point. That was awesome role playing.
Thanks.
So you should be sitting on 4 now. They point in the course of the discussion too. They point at the southern horizon, at the storm that sort of lurks there. They say, "What do you make of that?"
Well, quite frankly, I've been keeping my eye out on it for the last few days. It doesn't seem to have moved this way with any great speed, but it darkens my heart to see it.
Why is that?
You know, Musa, I couldn't really tell you. There's this sense of dread that comes with it when I see it.
He sort of nods knowingly to his cousins, and they exchange a bit of a conspiratorial look amongst each other, and then they say, "That unease. I think I know of which you speak."
Well, tell me then, what is it?
And he sort of nods to the storm. That is the working of some ill will.
Sorcery?
They all sort of like make little gestures or grab things on their pendants around their throats, and they say, "Yes."
Have you come across its path prior to finding yourself here?
They all sort of look at each other and they say, the Zahini have lived in this region and among the foothills of the Fire Mountains for as long as as there were men in these lands. These, and he sort of gestures to the mountains at your back. These hold many secrets of kingdoms lost to memory of both man and the elements. We know that in the past months, there have been many striving our many groups set from Khoraja out into those mountains, trying to unearth those secrets. And I hear from my kin that something was uncovered. I worry. This evil turn of fortune that our prince has, or that has befallen our prince, I fear is not the work of the gods, but of some foul act of sorcery by someone in Khoraja. And he says, nods again to the storm in the south. That seems to me a viper ready to strike.
Well, you are scouts, are you not?
Yes.
Take your rest tonight, and tomorrow, let's head off into those mountains and see if we can determine whether or not it's what the danger with it actually is.
They all sort of look at each other, and why don't you make a persuade check for me? Let's see how this goes over. Your guys pretty persuasive, so.
One success.
Okay.
Actually, Kev.
Yeah.
if I roll a 20, I should probably be letting you know, right?
Yes, please do. If you roll 20, there's a complication that comes.
Yeah. So there you go. So a success and a complication.
And a complication. Okay, so I'll dump. Yeah, I'm gonna dump 2 points in the doom pool rather than fucking up the your conversation with these guys. So they. I'm not sure that 1 is enough. So what I can do is you can spend a fortune point to get another 2 successes, or you can get success at cost.
Yeah, I'll spend a fortune point.
Okay. So that will leave you 1 net momentum, and I think what that's going to well, here's your 2 options you can do with that. You can either dump it into the momentum pool, or you can apply that towards like the persistence of your effect. It'll mean that Musa will be sort of an ongoing contact in Khoraja.
Sure. Keep me as a contact.
Okay. Let me get a card here for Musa. So they all sort of look at each other. So Musa is the Zahini scout. Cool. I know what I'm sketching tonight. They also look at each other, conspiratorially, and then Musa sort of, for whatever reason, is really. I guess you guys quite personable as well. He takes to you and says, "My friend, you misunderstand me. Whatever lurked in those, in the Fire Mountains, whatever antediluvian secret that they held, it has been seized by someone in Khoraja. That is where where you should be pursuing."
Have you heard of whom it is that we would seek in Khoraja?
I don't, but I can provide you names. If you ask around, spend money for rumors, then you should. I suspect there are some among the Zahini who may know more, or the darker corners of Khoraja.
Will you be coming back to Khoraja with me then to see this settled?
We have our duties presently here, and he sort of gestures around. He's sort of keeping eyes out for potential armies from Shem coming in. But I will return to Khoraja, and when I do, I will look you up, my friend.
Well, may Set keep you safe then.
He sort of makes a gesture. Set is really kind of a god of evil.
Yeah, I know.
So, we misjudged you. No, that's those. He sort of, bristles at that, and then sort of says, "May your gods watch over you, and I hope that mine watch over me."
Fair enough. Till we meet again in Khoraja.
He nods. So yeah, okay. So you guys, you spend the night there, and then in the morning they're gone before you're up. But they've left you a little care package of food and whatnot. And having spent the time amongst kindred souls in the desert, that's where you find yourself fully recovered. Your trauma is but a memory. So we'll cut now to Sulla. So Steve, tell me a little bit about. Remind me again, what is Sulla's trait?
Trait. Let's see here.
It'll be at the top left there.
You mean honor debt?
Honor debt, yes. Okay, so what a trait is, just to remind you guys, trait is one of the personality things that is it's something that will cause complications for your character. And mechanically, every time that trait causes a problem for you, a setback or whatever else, or some things don't go right or complicates a situation, you get a fortune point for that. So it's a really cool way that the game rewards you for playing your character, playing up personality aspects of your character that that would cause situations to become more difficult than they otherwise would be. So the only reason I asked that, so you got an honor debt to someone. That's interesting. Do you know who it's to?
Let's see here. Now, mine was the family of hunters, right?
Let's see here. I've got your character. Let me see.
That's my old character.
You're an outcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You met with disgusted eyes from even slaves. Outcasts are the beggars and petty thieves that skulk in alleys, sifting through rubbish for something to sell. But then you were taken in by a priest, right?
Right. Well, I was happy to get away from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I owe him a debt because he looked after me and taught me, and so I believe I have to honor his wishes. He always said in return for his hospitality that I had to live up to his expectations and the moral code laid out by his religion, but also that I was to return the favor in some fashion in the world. That was up to me.
Okay, cool. So just to I mentioned this to the guys at the in-person session last time as well. When you are playing up your trait, make sure you tell me that you're doing it that you're actually doing that with the intention of getting fortune points. Like, what cool thing you're going to do, and then remind me in case I miss it. Okay. Because I don't want you guys to feel cheated by the by those things.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So you guys are. So where do you think you're going to go for gambling then? Where do you foresee him? Is just like you're going to find like some seedy gambling den somewhere, and then just kind of throw yourself into it?
You're painting the town red tonight, so I'm going to start off having a few drinks down the road, and then we'll find sort of a good-looking place that has some, scantily clad women in it, and then
that's
games
awesome.
They're playing.
Okay, so that to me now that sounds also potentially like cultivating renown. Like are you trying to buy drinks to get people to know who Sulla is?
Sure. I mean, I'm trying to. My war story is I gained the favor of a local noble. Okay, I did that already, right?
Yeah. That's a backstory kind of thing.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm trying to enhance my profile a little bit while having a good time.
Okay.
So I want to be more popular.
That's a separate one. Let's do your gambling first, then. So you're first gonna try and get some what do you call it for roll some dice and get some increase your nest egg. So the way gambling works, Steve, is you choose however much gold you want to put up as a stake. You lose that gold, and then what you do is you roll a number of d6s equal to the number of gold you spent, and then for each, remember, a 1 counts as a 1, a 2 counts as a 2, 3, 4 counts as 0. And a 5 and a 6 count as 1 plus an effect. In your case, what that will, so if you are choosing to cheat, then the effect gives you an extra gold. But if you roll more effects than you have in your thievery, or you roll equal to or less than your thievery focus, then something bad happens, like you're caught cheating. Do you have any levels in thievery?
No.
No. Okay, so that means maybe cheating is not a good idea for you.
You must get the cheating.
Okay, so then so that's it. That's your options. How much gold would you like to stake for this?
3.
3. Okay, so you're down to 5 gold now. Grab 3d6s and roll them and tell me how you do.
I don't even know what I want. Big money. Boom, and I rolled 2 6s and a 2.
2 6s and a 2. Okay, so you know what? You actually net 1.
Yay.
Yeah, so you
I net 1.
You net 1, so you're back up to 9. Because each
Noise.
gives you 1, and the 2 gives you 2.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That was fun.
We lost Dave. I'll send an invite again here.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, he was moving his computer or his tablet or whatever, so he may have just lost the connection. Okay, great. So you made some cash. Now let's. Do you want to spend some of that gold to try and increase your renown? Now, the way renown plays into this is renown can reduce your upkeep cost. It reduces your what do you call it? It reduces your the cost of certain items too, like when you're trying to buy them.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to have. I think it also might play into certain what do you call it? Like it'll allow you to access certain social things as well too, because you're just you're better known. Is that what you intended to do as well, or was it?
Yeah, I don't want to be some nobody, man. I gotta be somebody here.
Badass.
Yeah.
So what you can do, Steve, is you can spend a number of gold, however much you want. For each gold you spend, you roll 1d6, and then for each effect you roll, what was it here? No. So if the total rolled is equal to or higher than your current renown, then it goes up by 1.
Really? Boy, but that's per die, or is that just?
No, just by 1. Like you can only go up by 1 stage per thing.
Well, then I may as well just spend 1 gold then.
Okay, so spend 1 gold, and then go and roll your dice and tell me how you do.
Oh, well, I rolled a 6.
A 6. So 1. Yep. So Steve, your renown is you have now 8 gold again, and your renown is now a 1.
Boom.
Now, the thing is, because you rolled an effect, what happened is you got a little rowdy, and you broke some of the furniture at one of the inns, taverns, or feast halls being frequented. You must spend 1 additional gold to compensate the landlord. So you should be down to 7 gold now.
Correct.
Okay. Now, that's 1 round of carousing. Now what I'd like you guys to do is, can you guys each roll 1d20, please? We're going to find out what the carousing event is.
Carousing event, I rolled 4.
Okay.
2.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Okay, so because we're just starting off the game. Hey, look who's joining us.
Hey.
So at least Brent can get his internet connection working for himself. So here's just to let you guys know, because we're still new to the game. What result I rolled was rumor mongering.
Oh, yeah.
So, and what it is, I added your 2 things together. What you guys found: wild and unfounded rumors spread throughout the town about the player characters for good or ill. The player characters are continually pestered by these rumors. People act on false information when they cross paths, and you gain both an ally and an enemy in this town. So here's what I think is the rumor that's been spread about you two. Is that because you guys are now being seen together in the kind of the royal apartments, or like the effectively the guest houses of the royal family, and the condition with which Prince Satabus returned. The rumor is that Semertef, as is typical for Stygians, you are in league with Neferet in a attempt to seize control of the Khorajan throne.
And that's the rumor?
That's the rumor that's going around, that you were a cat's paw, hired by Princess Neferet to lead or to convince Prince Satabus to first go on this foolhardy, expedition. And the rumor is that this guy who suddenly showed up and is now living in the lap of luxury while the queen and the crown prince lie, festering in their beds, was the one who betrayed the army.
That's just super. That's just one.
It's good that you've gained some renown, because people now know that you're the traitor who betrayed the the army, the Khorajan army, to the Shemites. So the ally that you guys have gained in town over this is one of the odd sort of spin-offs from this, is because you guys are sort of forced into this together. Princess Neferet has a very different attitude towards you now. She is much more she realizes that you're kind of maybe the only people she can trust and rely on. So I'm putting down Princess Neferet as one of your allies in Khoraja.
Oh, so she's not buying the rumors then?
No, absolutely not. Like she resents these rumors. So that's Princess Neferet. Your enemy is. Oops. Hey, Brent, we can hear you. Brent, can you hear us? I thought I heard. Did you guys hear Brent too?
Nope.
No.
He's not getting any audio right now, but Brent, it's like he's got the memory of or the retention of an Etch-a-Sketch every time. Because every time we log on, he's like, "Why am I getting no sound on this?" It's because we do sounds for Google Plus, man. Same as for 2 years.
Like my mom talking.
Yeah. So the guy who has sort of amongst the nobles who sort of is leading the not the charge against you guys, but the one who is most most convinced that you are in fact traitors and betrayers of the prince. The prince won't hear anything of it, and his bodyguards are obviously still keeping you safe. But there is a Khorajan nobleman named Tiberius, who really, every time that the courtiers hold court, and he's also been, you've heard that he's been speaking out at ale halls against you guys.
Now, was Tiberius the actual originator of the rumors?
You're actually not. You're not too sure. That is something that you could also track down with a rumors action.
Well, don't mind if I do.
Okay. So that's the that was the event that's happened, and I guess the Brent's not on the Google Plus call yet, is he? No, not yet. And I think you guys also know that there are rumors that rumors that this strange, dark, foreign sorcerer has corrupted the prince's mind and indeed his body. Is him and this foreign princess who the prince is engaged to. They're almost saying that it would be a blessing for the prince to die, and rather than continue to suffer as a cripple in the thralls of this Stygian princess.
Man,
So-
we've seen the possessed before. He's he's been one of us. He's all good.
So that's what's been going on in town. What would you guys like to do with your next downtime or carousing activity?
Let's see here. Rumors, gambling, recovery, cultivate renown. Okay. What do you figure, Dave? Should we?
I think Semmer's going to try to track down the bastard who started these rumors.
Okay.
Okay, wait, are we doing it together or what here?
What was that?
Together or what?
We can. I don't think we necessarily have to, right, Kev?
You don't have to. I mean, it's if it ends up playing into a more like an action scene, I'm going to give you guys the options to sort of write yourself into the scene if you like.
Okay.
Just I'm not, because we don't necessarily know like the what's it here? Actually,
Run out of a bar being chased by the owner after making a scene, and I run into Dave in the street, and I'm like, oh hey.
yeah, that didn't help. Like like shit can be taken out of context. I imagine that there's probably maybe that like in the course of bragging and trying to make a make a name for yourself, you started talking about how like if the prince's army, had you been with them, the prince's army would not have been decimated. And given the rumors that sort of were, swirling about your involvement with this whole debacle, it led to a bit of a kerfuffle. Kerfuffle, incidentally, is probably the least like Robert E. Howard word I could use in this. So here's the cool thing with the persuade or with rumors. Dave, what is your persuade expertise?
Summer's persuade is 13.
13.
Expertise 4.
Actually, it's 4?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so here's an awesome thing. The way rumors works very much like gambling. You roll a bunch of dice, and then for each the total rolled is the number of local rumors. Here, for each effect you roll, you gain 1 piece of valuable knowledge. It's more than just like, kind of like the hubbub in town. It's the actionable intelligence that I was talking about before. Something that could lead to a significant ally and whatever else. The reason I say that the persuade is cool is because when you make that roll, you can re-roll a number of dice equal to your persuade expertise.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Steve, how is your persuade? Do you have any ranks in that?
Yeah, I got 1.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that means you could potentially re-roll 1 as well if you chose 10 gold on it. So, okay, so it sounds like you guys want to, track down the source of these scurrilous rumors. How do you think you're going to go about doing that? Like, are you doing it in court? Are you going to the dingy bars trying to find out? Are you going to the souk, like the marketplace, and then trying to ask around with some of the the merchants or the criers there?
Well, who does Tiberius know?
Tiberius is a fairly well-known Khorajan noble, so he sort of runs in the circles of the aristocracy, but he does have connections, and he owns, property, or he has interests in Khoraja itself. He's certainly not as powerful as the prince, but he's a bit of a mucky muck in town. So he's probably. I think he's a bit of a man of the people as well. So you may see him not in like super low class places, but popular, watering holes, or in the maybe more in the marketplace, like the places where he can make a big scene and make speeches and shit like that.
You know what? Semmer's gonna hit up Tiberius's next big soapbox speech and call him out.
Okay. Well, you don't. I mean, he's the one who's making the most of these rumors, but you don't necessarily know that he's the source of these rumors.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, I think Semmer would go straight to Tiberius and flat out ask him. Name your source.
Okay. So this scene will take place in the it's sort of a big courtyard where sometimes there's some wonderful gardens in here. There's some beautiful palm trees. There are some small fountains in here as well. Sort of something that highlights the beauty of some of the nicer common areas in. Did I time out there, guys?
No, you still got good from here.
So going, okay, it's frozen on my screen here. Oh no, I'm done now. Weird. Oh, that's because Brent joined the call. Brent, can you hear us now?
Vaguely. I have next to no volume. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can fix it.
You know how in movies sometimes people they'll be dead, or they'll be trapped in some other dimension or some shit, and their voice kind of comes through on a radio or something like that. It sounds very far away and fading. That's how your voice is coming through, Brent. It sounds like
switch mics. That might make a difference. Right now, you're like a vague whisper, and my volume's cranked.
Yeah. I would first turn the volume down and then change mics. So as I was saying, in there's this big open area where sort of the place where the local, where they want to either have performances or for people to come and priests to rile up the crowds or whatever. And you can see that word has sort of spread around that Tiberius will be coming here, and Tiberius looks like sort of the typical nearly pure-blooded Gothic nobility that populates Khoraja, and he walks in wearing a really impressive looking ring mail kind of doublet, big long red crimson cloak behind him. He's got really dark curly hair that kind of cascades behind him. He's got a thick neck. He's not super tall, but he's got an incredibly athletic and a warrior sort of physique to him. He casts about with an aristocratic kind of gaze across the whatever he's surveying, with a bit of a scowl on his face, as if he disapproves of not disapproves, as if nothing he sees sort of meets his standards, and it causes him consternation. His eyes, however, are a bit unusual in that they have a light greenish kind of cast to them. Something that sort of adds to the other a bit of unnatural beauty, to be honest. That contrasts with his otherwise, Aquilonian type features. I mean that in the traditional descriptive sense, not that he's from Aquilonia. So he is accompanied by a bunch of his sort of carrying on, like, or carriers on, like his the nobles and some of the courtiers who follow him around. He comes in, and there's a small crowd that is there, and there's sort of like there's a person who's working up the crowd right now, sort of getting more and more in, talking about how the prince is lying in bed, rotting, his life squeezed from him by foreign sorceries. Poisoned words dripped in his ear by that temptress and snake from the southern lands, coming to seize our kingdom for her foreign masters. But who could protect us from this? Who? He comes now, Tiberius. And then sort of the crowd, like, all kind of gets all riled up, and he strides to the stage. Where do you see you guys being in this scene? Steve, I guess I should check. Are you going to be in this scene as well?
Sure. Yeah, we ran into each other, and yeah.
Okay. Brent, can you hear us now? That is right. Big N-O. Okay. So
Brent listening from the void.
Yeah, from the void. Brent, come back to us. I think that so if Lazaro is in the scene, he's going to be lurking in sort of the shadows or whatever, or using a sorcery to hide or something. Where is Semertef in this? Do you think?
Semertef is kind of hidden, cloaked amongst the crowd, and more front and center, so that when the moment comes, he can accost Tiberius and call him out for the douchey bullshitter that he is.
Okay, so that the guy who I was talking about before, he's this like wiry Gothic guy. He's dressed in like finery and whatnot, but he's almost got like the manic, presentation of a fire and brimstone preacher. His eyes sort of wild, he's widely, broadly gesturing as he's describing these things. And every time he accentuates or makes mention of foreign masters or foreign influence or poisoning the prince and stuff like that, he's pointing directly at you, squarely in there. And you sort of like the crowd is getting more and more riled up around you as well. Do you respond to any of that at all? Or are you just going to wait for Tiberius?
I'll wait for Tiberius.
Okay. Steve, where are you at this point? In that sort of big courtyard, are you sort of crowded up at the little dais where this agitator?
I'm still a little bit woozy from all the booze, so I'm trying to shake off the cobwebs while I figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you're kind of keeping a distance.
Yeah.
What do you?
Hang in the background with you meeting stealth ability.
Oh, do you have stealth?
Yeah.
Wicked stealth. Okay. Wait, do you have living shadow?
I have living shadow. Yes.
Oh, badass. Okay, so maybe you're doing sort of like a what do you call it? Strider kind of thing, and you're sort of like sitting on one of the marble benches at the side, under the shade of this palm tree. Your hood pulled up so people can't recognize who you are, but you're keeping a close eye on what's going on. So, what do you call it? As I said, the crowd is sort of at a fever pitch when this Barker leaves the stage and Tiberius comes striding to the stage, lifted by the cheers of the raucous crowd, and he begins in with this almost like prepared sermon, of the asking the crowd, will you, my brothers, you have heard of these dangers. You're aware of these threats that bedevil our kingdom. The flower of Khorajan youth cut down in a foolish and futile exercise to Shem. So the best among our warriors are nothing more than fodder for the carrion eaters that lurk in the deserts to the south. You know our prince. Our prince is too wise to have been undertaken such a foolish and foolhardy exercise. Do you believe that he would have taken this? No, says the whole crowd. Do you believe that he would spend the vital lifeblood of our knights and our warriors? No, says the crowd. Then who? Who do you think convinced the prince to turn? And they all cry out, "The Viper Princess!" Or no, just the Viper. The Viper! Yes, she awaits this. Our kingdom, our noble and ancient kingdom lies open to be seized by any Shemitic potentate who has the wherewithal to march on our borders, to march on our walls. Will you allow her to keep us safe or to keep us weakened? No, they all cry. And at this point, Dave, you kind of realize that a lot of them are carrying like clubs or like cudgels or, kind of like the sort of stuff that, barkeeps and whatever else are, would, or not barkeeps, that town dwellers would be able to bring to kind of a riot.
Yeah, board with a nail. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, they'll build a bigger board with a nail. Okay, and at what point do you sort of want to interject? He's building towards something in this speech, you can see, and more than once, those pale green eyes of his have locked with yours.
You know what? On his next mention of Princess Neferet, Semmer will have had enough of that garbage. He'll pull his hood down and he'll call him out. Tiberius, you worthless lying sack of maggots.
Okay. At that, I'm going to spend some doom here because I'm sitting on a doom pool of 8 right now. I'm going to spend 4 doom where he's been waiting for this. And as soon as you throw back your hood, he's come forward. He cries out, "Assassin! Stygian assassin!" And at that, the crowd just turns on you. So shit's going to get real in a moment here. Would you guys both actually make a perception check for me, please? Mm-hmm. So you guys start 2 dice. Remember, you can give me up to 3 doom to get an extra d20 for each of those, if you like. Observation. Yes, observation, please. Yeah. Brent, can you hear us? I see you're muted, but I don't know if you can hear us.
Okay, so I rolled a 15 and my observation is a 10.
Did you roll 2 dice, Steve, or 1?
1.
Remember,
I rolled a 4.
Yeah, you're always starting with 2 dice. You're always rolling 2 d20s to start, and then you can get extra d20s if you give me doom or if you spend fortune points or whatever.
I made 1 success, Kev.
1 success, okay.
1 success.
1 success, okay. Did either of you see if you roll a 20 on a dice where you've got points in focus or expertise, or if you get a 19 or 20 on something where you don't have an expertise, let me know, because that's a complication. But a 20 on a trained skill or a 19 or 20 on a non-trained skill, those are effectively like critical failures. Now, before we launch this, I'm just going to ask Brent. Brent, can you hear us now? I can't hear you, bud. But you are muted right now, so I don't know if you've if you're aware that you've muted your mic for some reason.
If you're there, type something.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that you're still struggling with that. Okay, so one success is enough for you guys to notice that there are. And I guess one other thing I want to point out, guys. Remember that you. It's one of the
Hey, can
ways.
you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Brent.
Okay, I just switched mics. It didn't like my old one.
Okay, great. So, did you hear what's been happening here?
Yeah, for the last 5-10 minutes of like.
So,
yeah.
Brent, Lazaro, where has Lazaro been sort of lurking in this?
I guess he's sort of. We're in like what's the setting? I don't. The main like the court.
Brent, if that means you weren't listening. You're in a courtyard where there. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna, because we're getting up to the point where we're gonna quit anyway. So I'm just gonna press on, and you're gonna have to just sort of pick it up where you go. Lazaro is arriving late here. So what's happening right now is, Steve, I think you're about effectively like one zone away from where the crowd is right now, sitting on one of those benches. Brent, I'm going to say that, assuming, is Lazaro the type? So what's happened is that Samartef came here to sort of confront this Khoraja noble who has been, or at least has been happily cashing in on rumors that you guys basically betrayed the prince and led him to his doom, and you're in league with his Stygian princess.
Did the prince not survive his wounds?
No, he did, but he is currently festering in bed. He hasn't made a full recovery yet, and he got a fever, and as a result of the decimation of the army and the injuries to her son, the queen is currently effectively in a coma. So
okay. The simple answer to that is, if we were in league with anyone other than the king, why would we have brought him back to receive?
No, Brent, you're misreading the situation. This isn't an opportunity to like role play this out. I want to know where you were. Dave's Samartef's plan was to confront this guy at this like rally in this big common courtyard. And what he did is he sort of waited until like he kept referring to her in this speech, referring to the princess as the Viper. And he was about to confront him. So he's been waiting right at the front of the crowd, and he's now just thrown his hood back, and he's about to try and confront this guy. But this seems to be what he's been waiting for. So he is, he just said, pointed at Dave as soon as his hood was thrown back and said, "Assassin! Assassin sent by the Viper!" And now shit's about to go, sideways. So what I'm curious of is, well, where Steve is right now is his character is sitting about one zone away on this bench in the shade of a palm tree, kind of watching what's going on, but not not interjecting in it. So in that scene, where do you think Lazaro would be?
He would have been standing on the sidelines up until this point, till he's gotten fed up.
Okay, so here's what also has happened then too, is as every time that previous agitator makes mention of the Viper, he also sort of gestures over at you and describe and her her sorceress thrall. So you guys, unfortunately, so the downtime event that you guys rolled was rumor mongering, which led to an enemy of Tiberius who sees you guys as a threat to the kingdom, and a friend of Princess Neferet, because you guys are kind of her only friends in town right now. So that's where we're opening things. What you've noticed with those perception rolls or observation rolls, guys, is that in amongst this crowd, there are bands of assassins making their way towards you. These are not, what do you call it? So they're not part of the rabble that seems to be sort of like, you can keep them at bay. I'm not going to bother making you guys roll against them. But what I think will happen is until you disperse the rabble, then anyone who is close to the rabble, which would be Dave and very shortly Brent, you're going to suffer a one dice penalty, or like basically your difficulty level will be up by 1 for anything you're trying to do, because they're just jostling you and whatever. Okay, so Steve, you said you were trying to hide though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're being inconspicuous. Okay, so I think what you see is there is Brent, call evens or odds?
I will go with the odds.
Odds. Okay, unfortunately, the odds are not in your favor because I roll odds. So what you see, Steve, just to set this up, is there are 6, or there's about actually. Let me think here. 3, 4. There's 5 guys who are advancing on Lazaro from different directions. There are there's 4. There's 7 that are advancing on Semertef. So,
what if I try to sneak up on? What if I try to sneak up on that leader guy, and then maybe I'll like take a knife to his throat or something?
He's. You mean Tiberius?
Yeah.
Do you mean the noble?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's surrounded by hangers-on. He's on a stage. I don't see there being a situation where you can do that. And honestly, as soon as what's going to happen? Actually, I'll spend Doom to do it. So my Doom pool is currently 4, 6 again. What effectively happens is as soon as this sort of kicks off, he's rushed off the stage and sort of out of the courtyard towards towards safety, almost as if he's planned this. So who would like to go first? Either one of you guys goes first, or I can spend some Doom to go first. And
I would like to go first.
You'd like to go first? Okay, Brent, what do you want to do?
What's in our...
Brent, why don't you give me an observation check first? Let's see if you've noticed these guys coming up on you.
All right. Give me 1 second. My dice are out of my reach.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Here's my observation. That's under awareness, right? Awareness, observation. Right. 1 success.
1 success. Okay, that's good enough. So you're sort of looking around and realizing that there's 5 guys who are kind of approaching in on you.
All right. If I spend a fortune point, that means I can do 2 actions.
You can do a second standard action. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to use sorcery to do an illusion of my body wreathed in lightning and my eyes glowing, and then follow that up by spending a fortune point to use Sorceress Might.
Okay. Hold on here. Well, remember that. So the way that Haunt the Mind works, Brent, is you're targeting one person, and then you can spend momentum to gain extra targets for that. It's not an illusion spell.
Right.
It's not an illusion spell per se. You can cast images into someone's mind, but you do have to target that person. So, and remember, so in at the end of this round, there will be a group of rabble that will be on you as well. That will be raising the difficulty level of all your actions by 1.
Right. Which I'm hoping to use Sorcerer's Might to disperse, but to use that, I need to do something. I have to cast sorcery.
Sure. So what do you want to do then?
I will use it on the guy who's fleeing.
Well, he's not really going to, like, I've already acted with him. I spent Doom. He's gone first. He's on his way out, so you can't really.
Okay, so he's already gone. He's exited.
Yeah.
Okay. Then sorry.
There do 5 men who intend you grievous harm here.
Okay, I will. So I can use momentum, right, to expand the spell so it affects other people, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do that then.
Okay. So what is the actual? That's what you're going to try and do? Is you're going to try and affect a couple guys with this lightning, make them think that you're wreathed in lightning?
Yeah. And looking really, really intimidating, or just like sorcerer's energy is coming out of me. Lightning probably works as a visual. What's in the momentum and doom pools right now?
Just for the sake of so as a reminder, momentum is kind of your friend in this, and currently the momentum pool has zilch in it. You may want the other guys go first and try and build up that momentum pool.
Good point. Okay.
It's your call. So I don't. You know, you can try doing this if you like, but you know, you tend to benefit from a fat momentum pool more so than just trying to get it off on your own.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there somewhere online where I can see the momentum pool? The 0 and the 6. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Someone else can go.
Steve, Dave, do you have any actions you want to take?
Yeah, well, if Steve, you want to go?
Sure. I wonder if I can edit the scene to have like some people's horses around, and then I can like try to make the horses go wild and like get them to sort of charge.
Yep. Spend a fortune point. That sounds awesome. There's a small, you know, group of nobles who are, you know, who are now relaxing and resting their horses near a fountain.
Nice. I'll stick on over there and then scare the horses and then make everybody, you know, have to scatter a bit, hopefully.
Okay.
Maybe there's some fire around.
Would you? I'm just trying to think what the effect is going to be for them.
I do have animal handling.
Like, where are you trying to drive them towards where Dave is, or are you trying to, or where Semertaf is, or are you trying to drive them towards where Lazaro is?
Where I guess we're Dave. Well, they're all descending on Dave, right? So
the more of them are on Semertaf, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's maybe throw some horses in that direction if we can.
So Dave, Steve, I think it'll be a difficulty level of 2. So you need 2 successes on this.
Okay.
And if you succeed, basically, then the rabble will scatter. That will be sufficient, so that Dave and Brent won't suffer that penalty I mentioned.
Cool.
Okay, so you're starting with 2 dice. So you can give me Doom for extra dice.
Another momentum I can use.
There's no momentum right now.
I'm gonna give you 2 Doom.
Sweet, I love Doom. Okay.
Here we go, baby. Come on, sister. I got, nice. 4 successes. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
And a 1. And what does 1 do anything?
Remember, a 1 counts as 2 successes.
Oh, then 5 successes.
Hold on. You have expertise in animal handling, right?
Yep.
Yep. So that counts as 2 successes. So you actually got 5 successes.
Nice.
Okay, so you needed 2 to do this. And you got 3 extra momentum. Do you want to dump that in the pool, or is there something else you want to do with that?
Let's maybe I'll dump 2 in the pool and then use 1 for something else. What can I use it for here?
You could excuse me. Okay, one is it 1 or a 2 momentum spend to affect a second target?
Interesting. With animal handling or with the? Is that just general?
General momentum spends.
Okay, where is that here?
Oh, secondary target. No, that's not what you want.
Momentum spins. Here we go. We're secondary target 2.
Yeah, 2. So with 1, you could improve the quality of success. So, so here's what I'm going to say. Actually, is
or 2, and then help out Brent's character as well.
Not only did you scatter the minions, so what happens is do you just like run over and sort of like hey and like scatter the horses that way, or is there something else you were thinking?
I'm whacking their butts and I'm sort of pushing them over towards the crowd like I'm an animal handler.
Right. No, I'm like, what does this look like? What do we see happen with Scylla?
Well, first, nobody sees me. I'm just this sort of wraith that sort of sneaks in behind the horses. In fact, even the horses didn't see me coming. So like, rah! And the horses are like, and then I sort of start smacking them a little bit, and they like picking them towards.
That's awesome. Okay, so were you planning on like closing in with them as well, or are you going to keep a distance?
I know it's still like flip in the shadows.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so these horses go charging in, and all these rabble that were riled up by Tiberius, they see this and kind of like and quickly realize that getting trampled by charging or stampeding horses is not something they signed up for. So they're scattering and running, and the extra level of success you're going to get is that some of the enemies, some of the other guys that are coming in, their difficulty level is going to be raised by 1 for this round. So it did the opposite of what they were hoping. These guys fleeing, sort of like you can picture these assassins are trying to make their way in, and all these shopkeepers and whatever are trying to flee these stampeding horses and are jostling them, so they can't quite get into or they're having difficulty getting into to our heroes. Dave, do you want to go next, or Brent, do you want to go now?
Well,
do you want more in the pool, Brent?
Do you have anything that you want to do specifically?
Yeah. I mean, if you're okay with that, I'll now, Kev, the kind of the rabble around Sammer, are they scattering as well, or are they still collected? What is the
rabble is gone now, so you're left with just these. You can see clearly now. There are 6, there's 8 men. Sorry, 7 men who are approaching you. Most of which have daggers or clubs out.
Are there any that look to particularly be the leader?
Yeah, there's one. So 2 of those guys look to be. Wait, 2 or 1? One of those guys looks to be particularly dangerous.
I will pick that guy out, and I will give him a steely glare.
Awesome. Okay, so you spin around, and you see these. You can sort of picture like it's this scene where all these townsfolk sort of flee, and then what's left is a circle of dangerous men armed with steel, making their way in, and you look around. 2 of these groups, incidentally, Dave, there's 2 groups of 3 that are minions.
Okay.
So go ahead, make your steely glare. Remember, it's going to be your persuade. You want to give me any doom for extra dice?
Yeah, you can take 1 extra dice worth.
Okay.
And are those D6 or D20, Kev?
D20s.
Okay.
Remember, each doom you give me gives me an extra 1 up to a max of 3 extra dice for a total of 5 max.
You know what? You can take one more doom.
Love doom.
We'll roll
Love it.
4.
Nice.
And that is against my persuade, you said?
Yes.
3 successes.
Nice. Okay. So you need 1 to succeed. That gives you 2 momentum. The steely glare. Let's roll damage for that. I think that's 2d6, isn't it? Plus 1, 3d6 because of your bonus to persuasion damage, right?
Right. That is 3 effects, so 5, 5, and 6.
3 effects. Okay, and the displays here.
Oh, shite.
Steely Glare has stun effects. Awesome. So I have to spend Doom. How many you rolled? How many? 3 effects?
Yeah.
3. So I got to spend 3 Doom to ignore them. I'm not going to. So he is stunned next round, or stunned for 3 rounds, I guess. Is that how stun works? Stun. No, next turn. Okay, so he is staggered, kind of. You catch him with this fierce glare, sort of freezing him in place. Okay, so that is we have 3 momentum still, right? So do you want to spend any? Well, actually, first off, roll your damage. Sorry, I'm sorry, you did roll the damage. The damage was what, 3?
Yeah, I guess that's 1 for each, right?
Okay, sweet. And you've got piercing 1 on your persuade attacks, right?
Yeah, piercing X.
Okay. That is excellent. Okay, so then what that means is he takes the full 3. So yeah, you sort of. He seems. Okay. So Dave, here's what you could do. He suffered 3. You have 3 momentum. You could spend 2 momentum to cause him to suffer a trauma.
Okay. And because of my naturally charming, I actually get 1 bonus point of momentum for any persuade tests.
That's right. So it's 4 momentum. You've got. So if you could spend 2 more to give him a trauma, or give him 5 damage, and then he would, or 5 resolve, and then he would also suffer trauma, or you can.
Yeah, you know what? We'll take the 2, put it into the trauma, and the remaining 2 into the pool.
Awesome. Okay, so that pool is sitting at 8 right now, or sorry, 4. All right. Now, I'm going to spend some Doom to go with my guys.
Can I go, or I have to wait?
Yeah, no, you go ahead and go, Brent. I'll let you go first.
Okay. What I will do then is I will do the glowy lightning thing.
Okay, so for you, Brent, of the 5 guys who are closing in on you, there are 3 of them are minions, and 2 of them are toughened, so that they'll take up to 2 harms before they will flee.
Okay, and now do I perceive that instead of this has gone from conversation, that we've gone to battle?
Yeah, like these guys are coming in to kill you. This was clearly some kind of ambush that was set up by likely by Tiberius.
Okay. Then what I will do, instead of glowing with lightning, I will pick the toughest looking dude there and rusted jagged metal icicles come into existence and launch himself at him.
Okay, so go ahead and make your check then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to make their roll for their resistance here.
So, and then what I will do, there's 4 dice in the momentum pool.
There are, yeah.
Okay, I will spend 2 of those and a doom to give myself the 5 full dice.
Okay.
All right. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. 4 successes, 1 of which was a crit, and then 1 complication.
Okay. Remember, so crits, like, just count crits as double successes.
Okay, so 5 successes and a complication.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take the complication as doom. And And so 5 successes, you said, right?
Right.
Okay, so you needed your threshold was a
3, I believe.
yeah. So
what can I do with the other 2?
well, no, your threshold is a 2, Brent, because it sounds like you're using spectral knife.
Right.
Okay, so that's challenging. So it's a difficulty level 2.
Okay.
2. So okay, which was it? One of the little, like one of the minions you're targeting, or one of
the biggest looking dude of all?
Biggest looking dude of all. Okay, so the reason I asked Brian is because he's I'm going to spend a doom to what do you call it? To dodge that. So it gets against acrobatics. Okay, so you lose 1 more success from that.
Okay, so I'm down to 4.
Yeah, so you're down to 4, which means a net of 2. So you have 2 momentum you can spend. You could use 2 momentum, Brent, to I don't know, to affect a second target if you like.
Yeah. Okay. So
because there's 2 big dudes who are coming at you.
Okay, so 1 at each of them then.
Okay. So the damage then is 3 combat dice. So roll 3d6, and then you can spend once you that it'll be the same damage to both, and then you're free to add momentum afterwards.
Oh, okay. One. 3 points.
Okay.
And then momentum. Each it gives me an extra dice.
No, it gives you 1 point.
Oh, it gives me a point of damage.
Yeah.
And the wound threshold on things are 5, right?
That's right. Yeah. Unless there's some other rule, but these guys is 5.
Okay, so screw it. I guess I'll spend the rest of the momentum in the pool and up the damage to 5, so they both are wounded.
Okay.
Okay.
So
and sorry.
So both of them fly back as if struck by something. This is what the rest of the guys see. They fly back as if impaled by some invisible force.
And then I would like to spend a fortune point.
Okay.
And use Sorcerer's Might.
Okay. So go ahead.
I go, enough. We work for the prince and no one else.
Okay. Brent, I'm spending 3 doom, so your difficulty level is going to be a 5.
Oh, shitty. Huh. Okay. And that's a sorcery test. Okay, so what else can I do? Fuck. I will.
Go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, I will give you some more doom then.
Okay. 3.
So yeah, why the hell not?
Okay.
You need that 13. Let's get you back up there. You said I need 5 successes to pull this off now?
You do, yeah.
Shit. Okay. Well, let's go for broke. Oh, ha! I made it on the notch.
How many complications did you roll?
None. My highest dice is a 15.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I did well. And
okay.
For Sorcerer's Might, do I still generate complications on when it's greater than?
Nope.
Okay. Cool.
How many successes did you roll?
I got the 5.
Okay. So then just roll your base damage for Sorcerer's Might.
Okay. And so the base damage for Sorcerer's Might is 5, but I get to add my presence bonus to that, right?
You do, yeah.
Okay. So then that's would be a total of 6 because I've also got that talent, Force of Presence.
Yeah, so roll 6. Well, remember, Force of Presence is already included in that on your character sheet.
Okay.
Don't count it twice. So go ahead and make your roll. Tell me how much damage you do.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, really? Why I rolled really awesome on everything else. On the hit roll, the damage sucked. I got 3 total. I rolled a crap load of 4s and 3s.
3 total.
But 3 points of damage total. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is the minions who are closing in on you. They seem like their faces all drain of color. They seem almost like very, very close to breaking.
Oh, actually, Kev, that's 4 points. I forgot that thing is intense.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If I'm reading it right, it says if you inflict a harm, inflict 1 additional harm. So I'm assuming a harm is like a damage point.
It isn't. You're assuming wrong.
Okay.
A harm, remember, is when you when you get a wound or a trauma.
Oh, okay. So if I'd wounded them, it would give an extra wound. Got you.
Yeah. So its intense is great. So like if you managed to score 5 points of damage, it would have done 2 harms, which would have defeated a toughened opponent and a minion. These guys are very close to fleeing, though. The guys who you stabbed, on the other hand, they're not as rattled by this. They still seem as if they are on task. So, okay, now it is my bad guy's turn. So, Dave, are you still there? Can you hear us?
Yep, I'm still here.
Oh, great, because we lost your camera. All right, so I'll do with the guys who are approaching you, Dave. There is one big guy, the one who you steely glared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he's stunned, so I got to spend Doom if I want to act with him. I got to spend. He is staggered, which means I have to pay 1 point of Doom to act with him, which I will do. So my Doom pulls down to 12. You know, I'll just I've got my whoopsies, my tokens here, guys. I'll just adjust the Doom pool at the end of my turn. So he goes racing in with his the aid of his miniones. These other guys come racing in, Dave, and they're distracting you. Sort of this crowd charging in. Let's see here. Whoopsies. And okay, I rolled 120, so I got to dump 2 Doom to get rid of that. But I rolled a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 successes. So, Dave, did you want to? I forgot to ask this. Did you want to try and parry these guys? What does your sword have a parrying quality?
Yes. Which sword is it that has the parrying quality? It is the Tulwar.
Okay, and you told me that you spent your bonus action or your free action to draw that, right? I thought I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can make 1 parrying action without giving me any Doom, then, if you like.
Sounds good to me. Now these are the minions. Is that right?
No, it's all of them. The minions are effectively helping him.
Ah.
Hmm.
You know what? Can I give you Doom to take 2 standard actions?
You cannot. This isn't your turn. This is your. It would be a retaliate at best.
I see. Okay.
So what you could do is you can just roll the 2 dice for your parry, or you could give me Doom to roll extra dice if you like.
Well, I've got riposte. And that's actually after successfully making defend reaction using the parry skill.
Yeah.
And that just allows me to attack. Yeah. So I'll just go with the parry then.
Okay. You give me a Doom for extra dice.
Yeah, you can have 1 Doom.
1 Doom. Okay.
That's 2 out of 3 successes.
2. Sorry, 3 successes. He said.
No, 2 out of 3. I should.
2 out of 3 successes. Okay, great. 2. So unfortunately, they did roll enough. And I'm going to spend some of my doom here because they rolled 4 successes. So they got 1 net. So let's see what damage is done here. So I got 1 momentum I'm sitting on right now. So you're sort of fending these, like this horde of guys who are all crowding in on you, Dave. Keeping them at length with the Talwar, but one of these big guys, he slips behind you, and incidentally, all these men all appear to be Shemitic. They're all the underclass, I guess, of Khoraja, and someone slips behind you, and this garrote goes around your throat, and he pulls in. You take 3 vigor damage, and you are grappled. So the way that works is I'm going to spend 4 doom to trigger that. So you need to do an athletics or acrobatics test against a difficulty equal to 4. To get free of this. Otherwise, and because you're ensnared, you cannot move or take actions except to try and escape. So this guy's choking you in. The 2 guys you attacked, Brent. Let's see here. Those. Sorry, Dave. It's 3 that you're going to need because I forgot about the complication that Steve created. Those horses made it more difficult for them. Let's see here. I think these guys will go individually. So I'll spend 1 doom to get an extra point here. 1. Okay, so it's Dave. Brent, did you want to? You have no weapons out right now, right?
No. I would have to have thought it ahead and used the quick action.
If you
can I spend spend a fortune?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. So you what did you do? You draw your hatchet?
Hatchet.
Okay, so you had your hatchet out. Okay, so you can try and parry if you like, Brent.
All right.
It'll cost you 1 doom to do that though. For the first one.
Okay. And
I'll make my roll for the second attacker as well.
Okay.
You tell me if you wish to dodge that.
1 success.
1 success. Okay, so you're able to spin around and keep 1 guy at bay who is coming in with a garrote as well. There is a second one closing in though. Do you want to give me 2 doom to try and parry him?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
You seem like you like the doom, so I'll do what I can. And 1 success again.
1 success again. Okay. That is not enough to keep this guy at bay, though. So he does get in on you. Let's see if he actually just injures you or if he... excuse me. Okay, so the good news is you are not grappled, but this thin wire, you sort of get your hand up, Brent, and it breaks down your arm, and you take 3 damage. You got a bloody wound on your forearm now. Okay, so then the only thing I've got left is this group of minions closing on you, Brent. The 3 guys who you startled, the 2 big guys who were closing in on you, who you injured before, they cry out, "Get him, cowards!" Well, actually, I guess you don't speak Shemitic, so they say something, but that's what the subtitles would say. And you keep them at a distance. They do not connect. Okay, so that is the end of the round, guys. There's no momentum in the pool, so it goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll modify my doom pool so you know where we're sitting at. Okay, top of the round. Heroes go first unless I spend Doom, and I'm not spending Doom. Who would like to go?
Sarah will go.
Okay.
Is it? I guess it's using riposte at this point is after the fact, right?
Yeah, riposte is what happens when you successfully parry someone. Riposte will never happen on your turn.
Right. Okay, well, I guess he's going to try to free himself of the Garrett.
Okay. So that is a difficulty 3, either athletics or acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can just give me Doom to get extra dice if you like.
Yeah, you can take 3 Doom.
I love 3 Doom. Dave, you're so generous.
And it's 3 to pass?
Yes. So you can hear this, the stink of this Shemite's thick or breath is hot on your face as this thing, pulls you in.
And
you can get yourself free.
1, 2, 3, and a complication.
Yo! So, do I want to take it in Doom or I want something interesting to happen? I think I'm going to, okay, the complication, Dave, is that you're struggling with this guy, you're grabbing at the thing at the neck and you can't get it out and you see these other guys crowding in on you. So you just, you hammer this guy in the side and he loosens his grip enough for you to duck down. And as you push yourself off from him, you stumble forward and then fall prone to the ground.
That doesn't sound so bad. That doesn't sound so bad.
No, everyone is on top of you right now, or potentially closing in on you. So that was your action. You're now free, which means you can take a bonus action, and you can take. You could spend. We don't have any momentum, but you could spend a fortune point to take another standard action. Do you want to spend a bonus? Let me see here. Is it a bonus action to stand? Standing is a minor action. So you want to do that?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay. So you scramble to your feet. Your talwar in hand. Anything else you want to do?
You know what? I think Summer's going to go two-handed. He's going to pull out his whip, actually.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. So the whip is out as well. That's a free action to draw a weapon. You could still spend a fortune point to take another standard if you like, or you can pass to one of your comrades.
Yeah, you know what? I'll spend a fortune point.
Okay. Another reminder, guys, you can choose to voluntarily fail something to gain a fortune point. This is a reminder how you can get more fortune points back into your pool. That or your traits.
Okay.
So what would you like to do with that action?
Hello?
Hey, Steve. Sorry, Dave, you still hear us?
Oh, you're on there.
Did we lose Dave? But we're Dave down.
We're Dave down.
Yeah.
One Dave down.
Then Brent, while we're waiting for him to get back on, Brent or Steve, do you guys want to go?
Actually, can you hear me, Kev?
I can. Yeah, we can hear you, Dave.
Okay.
So what's your action?
Yeah, so someone's going to retaliate against the guy that just had him in the garret.
Awesome. So you spin around, and what do you wish to do?
You know what? He's going to skewer him with the talwar.
Nice. Okay. So that'll be a melee attack. You want to give me any Doom for extra dice?
No, you've got enough.
Yeah, there's never enough. Okay, so go ahead and make your attack roll.
Yeah.
Let me think here. It's that guy. He is. It'll cost me 1 Doom to parry. No, I'm not going to parry. So go ahead and make your attack roll.
1 success.
Nice. Okay, so you hit him. Roll damage. I don't remember what the talwar's. Actually, I can just open up that page. Hold on.
And the talwar is damage 4.
Damage 4. Okay, so roll 4 dice plus the. I think you've got +1 to your damage, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 damage plus 1. There it is.
3, 4, and an effect.
Ooh. Do you have Total War? It's cavalry and parry, so there's nothing special there.
No.
So, I'm sorry, how much damage was that?
4, and the effect, which is nothing.
Okay, so this is the guy against you. He's got leather armor on. Okay, so you cut this guy. All right, who'd like to go next, Steve or Brent?
Doesn't matter, Steve. Do you have a preference? If you want to do something, you can.
So let's have some footing in the shadows to see how you guys make out, and then I'll go last, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
Or wait, well, will it help you to get, like, maybe I should get some guys off you? Because you're being garroted, aren't you?
Well, there's how many? There's 4 guys left or 5, Kevin?
On you, Brent, there are 5. On Dave, there are 7.
Okay.
6 of the guys on Dave are minions, and 3 of the guys on you are minions, Brent.
Okay. I'm going to go after one of the toughened guys, unless you want to do something, Steve.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Do you have a great attack?
All right. So what I'm going to do is, with my hatchet, I'm going to start hacking away at one of the biggest of the 2 tougher dudes.
Love it.
I'm going to give you an extra doom, which, because of my melee ability, it gives me an extra 2 dice.
Yep.
So I will roll 4. And I got 3 successes.
Nice. Well, sorry, Brent. I should have said I'm sitting on a shit ton of doom, so I am going to parry. Let's see here. Shit, I've got 2 successes on my parry.
So I just hit.
You know what? No, ignore that. I'm not gonna do that. So you go ahead. So you hit, and then I'm sorry. How many successes?
I had 3, and if I understand right, I can spend 2 to. Are they armored at all?
They are armored. Yeah, they're wearing leather armor.
So I can use 2 points to pierce.
You 1 would be sufficient with leather armor. Leather armor only gives 1 armor, and remember, each momentum spent gives you pierces 2 points of armor. So it still gives you still have 1 momentum left over.
Okay, so I will use 1 to pierce, and I will just roll damage, and then I might just give 1 point to the momentum pool. See what my damage roll turns out to be.
Yeah, roll damage.
I get to roll these 2 over again. Oh, that helped. 4 points.
Whoa. Okay, so how does this guy die, Brent? Describe for us.
I'm still.
Wait. He's actually not. He's not dead.
Oh.
Wound.
I'm thinking about him dying.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so you hit this guy, Brent. Where do you hit him grievously? You do wound him. So describe that for us.
I'm mad. I go to sink my axe in his head, but he manages to dodge. So I end up. My wound is I shear off part of his cheek and his ear.
I love it. He screams, and then he looks at you, and I'm spending 2 doom. He looks and his hand like whips inside his robe or whatever, the cassock or whatever that's on him, and he throws something at you, and which you quickly just batter aside with you try to batter aside with your tomahawk, not tomahawk, hatchet. You hit this thing and it shatters, spraying this fine sand around.
Oh, damn it.
No, don't worry. You sort of you blink quickly, and the fear you have that it's some kind of alchemical thing is quickly given, alleviated, because you realize that you're not blind. But where the fuck did he go?
Oh,
he disappeared. Okay, is that it for you this round, Brent, or you want to do something else?
That is me for this round.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it. And so I'll leave that 1 momentum in the momentum pool.
Okay. Steve, what would you like to do?
Well, how can I be of the most service here? Maybe I will. I mean, can I Captain Kirk human cannonball some of these guys and knock a bunch of them over or something?
You could. I mean, do you have? I'm assuming you've got your bow with you, right?
I have a boat.
You could. That is sort of your shtick.
Right. Let's mess them up.
Okay. So, what would you like to do? You want to? There is currently one more assassin on Brent. Oh, actually, there's 4 assassins on Brent, 1 toughened, 3 minions, and there are 6 minions and 1 toughened on Semerkef.
Right. Well, Semerkef sounds like he's pretty busy. Let's shoot somebody that's on him.
Okay.
And,
do you wish?
I can reroll a damage dice. Just trying to check out my abilities here, and I can do a minor action to get 1 momentum.
Yeah, and I think that, Steve, you also have 1 volley for your bow. Oh, 2. You have 2 reloads. Those are 2 volleys. What you can do is you can spend those volleys. Like you don't track ammo in this, but what it would be is you roll. You can spend a volley, and it gives you an extra D20 on your roll and an extra D6 on your damage.
Let's do it up. Can I pick a target? If I have 2 momentum.
Say again? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Can I pick a second target for that?
If you roll enough momentum, then potentially, yeah.
Okay. Right, you're going to do that, right? Okay. All right, so wait. So is there any momentum in the pool right now?
There is 1. Yeah, that Brent dumped in there for you.
All right, I'll take that. I'll also use my marksman ability, take a minor action, and get another momentum.
Sweet.
And then I'll give you 1 doom, and then I'm rolling 5.
Okay. Go ahead and give him shit.
All right, baby. Rock and roll. All right. Well, I've got a 1, a 4, an 8, and a 20.
Ooh, 20 is a complication.
Right. So I've got 3 successes and 1 with a 1, which I guess that gives me 4 successes. And then a 20.
Okay, so the 20. I'm not going to do this thing, but here's what. Just because I want to keep this one moving. I can spend momentum to have the bowstring snap. And, like you'll carry extras with you. It'll just take you a standard action to and a craft roll to get it back on.
Right.
But I'll just take his doom instead because I love him. I love me some doom. Okay, so that is that's a hit with. Sorry, what is the optimum range? What's the range listed on your bow?
Well, it depends what kind of bow I have. If I have a Shemite bow, then the range is medium. If I have the other bow, it's the long bow.
Which do you think you have right now? The way it works, Steve, is your difficulty at the optimum range, whatever the range is there, is 1, and then it's 1 more for every range it's outside of that range. You're at medium range because you're 1 zone away from them right now.
Right. Weird how the Bosonian longbow ideal range is medium. It does 5 damage. Or the Shemite bow, its ideal range is long, and its damage is 3.
Yeah, because the at long, like if you want to be like kiting an opponent, a Shemite bow is a lot better.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Which of these bows should I pick here? Maybe I'll go with the. Well, okay. So the Shemite bow. Oh, let's do it. Shemite bow. Fine. Screw it.
Okay, so that means it would have been a difficult. That's the one with the max, the range of long, right?
Right.
Okay, so then that means a difficulty would have been 2. So you still have, I think 3. You said you rolled 5 successes or 4?
4.
4. So you have 2 momentum. Roll damage, and then you can decide what you want to do with that 2 momentum.
Alrighty, and my damage, I get 2 bonus dice.
From your bonus, that's awesome.
Right, I get 1 bonus, or do I get what 2?
I can't see your character sheet, so I think you get 1.
Okay.
Well, actually, Steve, what does it say at the top?
I get ranged. I get +1 bonus damage.
Okay, so it'll be a total of 4 damage, I think, for the Shemite bow then.
So I roll 4 dice?
Yeah, and you got 2 dice, and then remember, you can re-roll a number. You can re-roll 2 damage dice as well because he was down.
All right, here we go, baby. Boom. So we got okay. Well, let's roll through those. Well, all right. I got a 5 and a 3 and a 3 and a 2.
5, a 3, a 3, and a 2. Okay, 2 gives you 2, 5 gives you 1 more, and it gives an effect. I think the effect of Shemite bow is piercing, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, so it means you pierce 1 point of armor. Excuse me. What do you want to spend that 2 momentum on? You could give you do 5 damage on this, which would actually it would kill the guy on, or at least it would seriously wound the guy who's on Dave, the big guy.
Really? Okay. Instead of a second target. Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's okay. So Dave, again, the guy who Samartef just got free of, he sort of starts stalking forward again, and then Steve, where do you hit him with his arrow?
I hit him right underneath his armpit there to kind of cripple him.
Okay, he's hit. He staggers back. He looks off at the archer who he didn't notice before, and then he does the same thing that happened to Lazaro. He tosses this little like egg-shaped thing at you. You could maybe batter it in the air, and it explodes into this fine mist of sooty sand. And then when your eyes clear, you realize he's gone.
Interesting.
Okay, so I think that is that's it for you, Steve. Is that right?
I think that's it, man.
Okay, so bad guys. I think what they're just going to do is we're going to spend 2 more doom, and the last remaining one who's facing you, Brent.
Okay.
He whistles, and then actually I'll just dump my doom to do this. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then all of these guys seem to draw the same thing out, and I'll cast them at your feet. You guys are encased in a hazy cloud, a gray cloud of this. Actually, no, it's Samartef and Lazaro are encased in this cloud. Steve, you've got another 1 or 2 arrows that are drawn, and you're looking around. Oh shit! I forgot, Steve. You would have had an extra dice because you're volley.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I cheated you there. So you're sort of like, you got more arrows out, and you're trying to see where these things are. And as soon as that dust settles, you see you guys are alone in the courtyard. What are you guys doing?
Probably regrouping. Is there any trace of them? Can we track them?
Oh, you know what I'll let you do, Steve?
Yeah.
There is 1 guy left. Actually, any of you guys can make range attacks against this guy. But I think Steve's the only one who's got really a ranged weapon. There's 1 of them scrambling up the big high walls that surround this courtyard. And he's sort of like, you can picture he's just about to make his way over. Do you want to take a shot at him, Steve?
Yeah.
He is at long range as well. My doom pool is down to a 3 right now.
Is it? That's pretty low for you. And I get to, let's see, can I do the volley?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, all right, that gives me an extra die too, right?
That does, yeah. And
3. All right, and then I can take a minor action for marksman, which gives me 4. Is that right?
Minor action, no, gives you momentum.
Momentum. Okay. Okay, momentum. Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. So I can roll 3 dice, get 1 momentum. Okay, and an extra damage die.
2 doom as well. Get
Sure.
Dice, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're rolling 5 dice, and you've already got 1 momentum.
Boom. All right, what do we got here? Well, we got 2 1s.
Holy shit.
A 4 and a 4 and a 10. So that gives me 6 hits.
Okay, so this guy's dead. Describe for me how this guy stops. Like, how does the scene look?
So I grab 2 arrows, and this guy's trying to climb up the building. He thinks he's being real sneaky and quiet, and I just sort of stand there and just take my time, breathing. Yep. Plug both arrows, but one on top of each other, double tap them right.
This guy falls back down and with a thud hits the ground. Around this time is sort of when you can hear the stomping of the city guard again. They're going to be making their way down here. What do you guys want to do? You're a guest of the prince, so you're known to the city guard, I think. But what do you guys do?
Can we track these guys down?
You may be able to by trying to follow rumors as to who these guys are, but there is one body that's sitting there.
Yeah, let's ransack the body.
Okay, so you get in. You go over to the body. And you sort of as the guards are coming down, you're given a very brief opportunity to sort of look through these things, and what you see is this guy when he fell. It sort of like knocked open the fabric that was sort of wrapped around his arm. All these assassins had these things wrapped around their arms, and it sort of fell open. And you can see that there is on the inside of his forearm, there is a tattoo. The tattoo is the coiling snake of Set.
Ooh.
Oh, I blame Dave's character.
At seeing that, as almost an ominous call, we close our session with the roll of thunder from the oncoming storm coming from the south. So that will be where we'll cap things up for tonight, guys. For those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for the start of the next adventure for our Conan campaign, The Thunder at Midnight. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you again soon.